I have been glued to my bed for 5 days. I've been just lying in bed, trying to relax, trying to heal myself. And, you know, at first I did not want to succumb. I didn't want to be sick because I constantly have this pattern that I really need to figure out in my life to where things are going really, really good for me and then I get sick. And I'm trying not to make it a pattern that I'm expecting, but I'm trying to figure out like the root cause of that. But for the first time that I've ever really been sick, I just allowed myself to be sick. Usually I want to be sick, but I want to get up and I want to clean the house and I want to do the laundry. And I did do that a little bit. But this time I was like, you know what, Lacy, you're just going to be sick. You're just going to heal. You're just going to, you know, do what your body is supposed to do. And in the past, I have gotten mad at myself for being sick, which is a little ridiculous if you think about it. Like, your body is literally doing everything it can to take care of you and keep you alive, and you're mad at that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I finally feel like a human again. Just kidding, because I never feel like a human. But I actually feel a lot better now. And the reason that I wanted to come on here and make this video is because I was sick. I actually had like so many messages that kind of came in over the course of 5 days. So leading up to me getting sick was me trying to like make another video and like trying to live out my life. And I thought I was kind of just like getting depressed, which I was, but I was just very, very like lethargic, and I'm still not like my 100% self, but I definitely feel like myself again. But leading up to this, I was like trying to make a video, and the day that I decided to shoot this video, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get up, and I decided to like take one of those showers that are like a self-care shower where you like get in the shower and you do like a hair mask and you like shave your legs, and then you like do like a sugar scrub on your body, and then like after a while you're like sweating in the shower and you're like, is this worth it? And then you come out and your body's like, who is she? And then you're good on self-care for the next 6 months. And I thought that was gonna make me feel good, and it did, but the dopamine just like lasted like very, very short. And I was just like, maybe I'm actually really sick. I was kind of sad, but after a while I was like, okay, so something is wrong. So I decided to stop the video, because once I like played back looking at like what I recorded, I was like, okay, Lacy, this is not like, you obviously don't feel good. Your whole aura is like, it's not there, boo. Like, get in bed. Ended up laying in bed, and what happened over the course of me being sick is I finally had like messages that were actually coming up, and I think it was probably from that depression, but like it intensified when I was sick because I was like allowing myself to succumb and silence myself to listen to what I needed to hear. But I was incredibly triggered. So basically what happened is I noticed that as I was becoming sick, like old wounds were coming up for me, like child wounds, like wounds of feeling like, you know, abandonment, feeling like the need to be loved and taken care of by parents that I feel like I just didn't have in that moment. So that was like a really big wound for me that I had to kind of work through. But obviously it's still there, but it's something that I finally decided to sit and address. And as I address that, like there is a lot that has been coming up for me lately. And a lot of it has to do with this course that I'm kind of taking. As I was like laying in bed and as I was like, all of this is coming up, I was doing a lot of crying, like, which is just a terrible thing in general to do when you're sick, is to like lay in bed and cry. But I was at the point where I was like watching, like Netflix just wasn't doing it. Like I was watching Golden Girls. I was like, okay, there's a little bit of serotonin coming in, but it's not enough. And I think it was just because I needed to go deeper. I wasn't allowing myself to like listen to myself and like listen to like the traumas that are kind of coming through for me. Over the period, I've been like journaling. I got this new journal that I've kind of started. It's a vegan leather journal that I got off Amazon. but I've started to kind of journal in there a little bit and like get through my triggers. But yesterday when I was finally like feeling like well enough to where I could leave my bed and like do things and really work on myself, I just decided to have like a more like Lacy kind of day, because over the past 5 days I've been feeling a little more of a connection to my body here lately. Like I'm feeling more in my body, if that makes sense. And so I've just felt the need to like lay on the ground and stretch and like listen to myself and put my hand on my heart and just like give myself a little bit of love, because this entire period, like the childhood wound that has been coming up for me is that like I need love, like I need a hug, like I need to be held. But yesterday I was like laying on the floor and like stretching and like feeling into my body, and then I had this like intuitive urge to just grab a notebook and like get on the floor and write down every single one of my triggers, everything that has been triggering me lately. And I do a really great job at journaling things out. I do really like a really great job at like writing down when I do get triggered and kind of getting to the root of it. But I feel like I don't really necessarily decide to take the initiative to tackle it and address it. So what I decided to do yesterday was I just was like, let me just write down everything that is triggering me right now, everything that's kind of going through my brain, everything that like when I feel jealousy or I get angry or I lash out, everything that I am triggered. And so I wrote an entire list of all of the things that have kind of been getting to me lately and that have been coming up for me, like just like limiting beliefs that I have or beliefs that I have about the world or other people. And I just put them all on a list. And I just sat there and I decided for the first part of this kind of healing process, what I need to do is to come to terms with the fact that I do get triggered. I do have bad days. I do still have limiting beliefs because, you know, I'm on a healing process. I'm not perfect. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just sit with these in my heart and accept it for this is what I'm triggered by right now. This is what's affecting me. This is what's happening in my brain right now. And it's okay, because in the past I've been like, okay, this is something that's triggered me. I journal about it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to address it later. I'm going to get to that later. But this is the time where I'm like, you know what? I need to sit down and need to look at it in the eye. I need to say, you know what? It's okay, Lacy, that you have these triggers. It's okay that you feel this way. And so I just sat for a while and wrote them all out, wrote what the root cause, because I know what the root of all of my triggers are. You know, the root of everything. I know what they are. It's just a matter of, am I accepting it or am I just like pushing it to the bottom and saying, you know, I'll deal with that later. And I just thought to myself, you know, the only way out is through. The only way I can get through this trigger is going through it, by addressing it, by looking at it in the eye. I decided to kind of just like meditate on that affirmation as I thought about all of these things that have been coming up for me. You know, the only way out is through. The only way out is through. The only way out is through. The only way I can get to freedom is through. I have to go through this hard stuff. I can't just ignore it and act like it isn't happening for me. So I just sat with that for a little while. And the thing about like healing, the thing about getting through your triggers and your limiting beliefs is that it's so much of a process. Like in the past, I've kind of looked at like my limiting beliefs and like things that I need to heal and my traumas and things like that. You know, I've looked at it like it's just something I can do like a meditation for. I can affirm it away. And the thing is that some of these traumas we've been carrying since we were 5 years old. Like we have these traumas and these beliefs that have been with us since 5. Like the incident may have happened at 5 and then something else happened to trigger us, and then we just stacked it on top of each other. And what I mean to say is that it's not something that's just going to go away with a meditation, because we're like an onion. We have layers. Of course, affirmations and meditating, that is the first step. That's a great step to take, but maybe you have to do that meditation a few more times. Maybe you have to do those affirmations a few more times. Maybe you have to do some breath work for it. It's not just like a one size fits all for your healing journey. And that's a message that really spoke kind of loudly and clearly for me. And I think that's part of the reason why I had to get sick, is because I could feel myself getting depressed. I could feel myself getting triggered here lately, but I never really sat and just like sat with it. So as far as like these triggers go, and as far as these beliefs go that I'm trying to work through, the next step for me is I think I'm probably gonna write like an apology letter to myself, like a forgiveness letter, not an apology letter, like a forgiveness letter to myself, because it's okay that I have these issues. It's okay that I believe these things right now. And I forgive myself for having that. I forgive myself for wanting to hide it or put it in a box or throw it away or pretend that it doesn't exist. I forgive myself for that, and I forgive myself for holding on to them for so long. So that's gonna be the next step for me. And then of course, like some forgiveness meditations, and it's just like a daily practice. And I'm really thankful that I actually came to these kind of realizations when I was sick, just because it's something that I just needed to hear. You know, like I always say, you don't hear the messages until you're silent. And that's really just what I needed in that moment. I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. And I'm gonna keep working, and I'm gonna keep trying. So with that being said, I'm just gonna be focusing on my health. I have been craving here lately, just like going outside and sticking my feet in the grass and like sitting in the dirt. So I think that I'm probably gonna go now and sit in the grass, maybe journal a little bit. I feel really good when I have sun on me and I have my feet in the grass. So I'm gonna do that and ground and kind of connect to Mother Earth a little bit, and get a little bit of holistic healing that way. So thank you guys. I'll see you then. Bye. I'm styling my bag.